question has been on the minds of spiritual seekers for the millennia. And today I'm going to break down some of the what and who you are and what and who you are not. See, it's a true story that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And so much of your human experience is being triggered and created by who you feel safe to be, who you think you should be, the ways in which you allow yourself to express, allow yourself to dress, what you think will impress those around you. And our behaviors get shaped and molded by this because on a very basic level, we all want love and we all want acceptance. And we live in a world where we are conditioned and marketed to that acceptance comes from the outside in, that it's an outside in game, that it depends on the clothes you wear, on the cars that you're driving, how people perceive you based on an exterior story. I want to challenge all of this and invite you into a new way of being and thinking and seeing and dreaming and being. Because if you want a different life and you want different results, you have to interact with the world in a different way. And that means you get to unpack and delete aspects of your personality that do not serve you and amplify the ones that do. So, who are you? Why are you here? Right? Why am I here? Well, am I Maya Shiva? Am I that? Or am I the ever witnessing consciousness behind? Am I an Ayurvedic practitioner and coach? Or am I simply love? Or am I both and all of the above? This is what I want to look at and explore with you today. So as children, we learn these models of what's okay to express and what is not. And this plays a huge role in shaping our personality and behaviors. For example, if you grow up in a household with someone who's a high-performing professional, like say your parent is a lawyer, or you are, your parent is an engineer, something like this, you're going to learn a certain model of what it means to work, right? It means that you spend this many hours Monday through Friday going to your job. It means that you dress in a button-up shirt with a jacket and slacks. You have a certain car, you do certain things, all of which are establishing your safe space in society. Right? But my question for you is that an accurate representation of who you really are? Now, if you are doing these things, if you're wearing the suits and the slacks and driving the Beamer because you like it, fuck yes. And if you're doing all of those things because some part of you is gripping onto that as a way to be accepted, this gets to be unraveled and dismantled because so much of that is based in fiction and story. So when I first started practicing Ayurveda, I had so much resistance to it, and what I began to realize is it was because of this. I had this idea in my head that in order to be a healer, I had to speak very softly and, dress a certain way and have a certain way of being in the world, which is beautiful for the people who have that resonance. But for me, I am fiery. I swear a lot. I'm kind of punk rock. I'm kind of edgy, right? And I was so scared to express these parts of my personality because I was like, well, then nobody's going to come to me, right? Nobody's going to want to get supported by this crazy tattooed chick who says fuck all the time. You're here, aren't you? See, I made up this story based on conditioning and how I felt safe to express, because I was trying to find approval from the outside world instead of learning to accept and love those aspects of my sparkly personality that make me so different and unique and magical. And you know what? I trigger people all the time with my joy. I trigger people all the time with my full expression and the way that I can get super pissed and then be fine with whatever 2 minutes later. People get triggered because, let this land, because they want to do that too and they're scared to. So when you get triggered by someone or something, this is where you get to look and do the work. If you're triggered by someone's behavior because you think it's not professional, take a deep dive into what being professional means for you and how that has shaped the way you restrict yourself. You restrain yourself. You refrain from expressing what you actually feel and believe, right? So how do we dig in to changing the personality and understanding your true identity? So much of this work is looking at patterns of shame and trauma and where you feel safe to express and how. And at this point, you've already watched the drama triangle video, and I'm going to tie this in for you by sharing a story of mine. I had a model of love that said the way you can get attention is when something bad happens to you. And when you are doing really well, people get jealous and will try to cut you down. Victim consciousness being the way you receive attention, and then people getting jealous in my own family. And instead of celebrating my wins, they would say snarky shit or like, isn't she living the high life? And because I was playing an outside-in game, I started to make myself smaller. Right? I wasn't allowing myself to receive and show my fullness and my greatness because I wanted to be accepted and loved. That's an outside-in game. Remember, the goal is not to keep everybody comfortable. The goal is to increase your own light until people can no longer stand the fact that theirs is so dim and they try to match you. And there might be some resistance and ruffle at first, and that's not your problem. You cannot save people from the lessons they came here to learn, including yourself. But what you can do is embody this truth of your personality so that you can inspire people on the path to expressing themselves more fully. And they might get jealous and triggered, and that's not your problem. That's not the thing for you to worry about. That's on them. The invitation here is to really start to look at aspects of your personality, trauma triggers, where you play small, where you don't communicate, or where you communicate overly strongly, where there is imbalance in how you express. And I want you to sit down and make a list of these personality traits that do not serve you and where they came from. Where in your past conditioning did you adopt this pattern as a way to feel safe? And then I want you to make a list of the personality traits about yourself that you love and that you would like to amplify. The operating system of the mind is malleable. You are not stuck in any condition. I mean, I think about where I was 15 years ago, like in my early 20s, totally entrenched in anxiety and smoking cigarettes and drinking and doing all these things to control my emotional state. I'm not the same person. My deep core as a spiritual being of love and light can never be changed. and the way my human personality expresses it can't. And the more clearly you express yourself according to the gifts, magic, and medicine, according to the message that is written on your soul, the more these align, the more nature supports all of your endeavors. This is an inside-out game. How can you tune those energetic frequencies? Let me know what's landing. I'm so excited for you to do this work. And remember who you really are, which never changes, no matter what human form you've chosen for this life. Om Namah Shivaya.